Hello, I'm Mark Dujsik of MarkReviewsMovies.com.
And I'm Brett Arnold of Yahoo Entertainment and the New Flesh podcast. And this is At the Movies Again, formerly Roger and Me, aka Roger Ebert and Me. If you're doing a taxonomy of all the things this show has been called, we are a movie review podcast tribute to Siskel and Ebert, two film critics who've been introduced already, covering every new theatrical release, every new streaming release, every new VOD release. However movies are released nowadays, we're going to cover them every Friday in the iconic format pioneered by Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. Although we have no affiliation with those brands, those human beings, or their estates or anything like that. Today we have 7 new release movies, a few of them in theaters, a lot of them on streaming. A couple of them on streaming, actually, not that many. So let's just go through them. Her Private Hell. This is the first Nicholas Winding Refn movie in a decade. The guy who did Drive, and what are the other ones? Only God Forgives and Neon Demon. Motor City, an action movie starring Alan Ritchson and Shailene Woodley that has a gimmick that I don't think works at all, but a lot of people disagree. The Dink, a underdog sports comedy that's on Apple TV. It stars Jake Johnson from New Girl and Mary Steenburgen and a bunch of other very funny people and very serious people, including Ed Harris. Really excited to talk about that one. 72 Hours, a Kevin Hart comedy with a bunch of SNL stars as well, including Marcelo Hernandez and Cam Patterson and Ben Marshall. There's a movie called Rosebush Pruning, which I'm going to say right now, I think it aims for Todd Solondz and lands more Emerald Fennel in terms of its provocation. Cruel Hands, an Australian survival horror thriller, and A Sad and Beautiful World, a romantic comedy drama from Lebanon. And I'm really excited to talk about that too. Mark, what's going on?
Not much. It's nice to have a busy week again after the Odyssey, which is, I assume, still doing big numbers.
It's doing crazy, like midweek, day by day numbers too. It's like 20 million a day. It's crazy.
Those IMAX tickets. Yeah. There's one near me. There's a 70 millimeter that I think we've talked about this.
Well,
we definitely talked about it off camera. Yeah. But I really want to go, but you have to hopefully find tickets sometime in August.
Yeah, I know. They're sold out here in the same capacity where they keep adding more. And I feel like what's going to happen is David Robert Mitchell's The End of Oak Street, I fear. I mean, it's fine. I feel like it's going to get bumped from IMAX because the Odyssey just is going to get more time. But the thing is, The End of Oak Street's also advertising that they shot for IMAX, and I think there's another movie coming out that also shot for IMAX, or isn't it Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, you got to figure Spider-Man's got to take over some of those large.
I don't think it
formats.
I mean, it's taking over every large format that's not an IMAX 70.
70 mil. Okay.
Yeah, they have I think Nolan has either 3 or 4 week firm hold on actual IMAX screens. So really interesting times we're living.
I'm gonna have to go at least see it in the Dolby Theater one more time before Spider-Man opens. So I'll 100% figure that out.
It's also crazy, to think that Dune 3 has IMAX screens and Doomsday does not. Like, that is insane.
Doomsday has Infinity Vision,
which is a completely made up thing that they invented to call the other screens to make it enticing. Yeah. Anyway, the movie I didn't get to.
We'll talk about that in December.
We will. We'll definitely get there. The one movie I'm not talking about because I would say I watched like 3/4 of it and I'm just like, this isn't for me and I shouldn't review it. Hadestown the musical. It's a pro shot not an adaptation. It's just a pro shot. How do you even say that? A pro shot version of a
pro shot performance.
A pro shot performance. Yes, of a West End show that was a Broadway show that was also a West End show, and the West End, this version has the Broadway stars and the West End rest of the players. So it was in the West End, filmed in 2025. It's a Broadway show you may have heard of called Hadestown. It's a very popular show. It's just a pro shot version of that, which all it did, which Mark's review, even though Mark was positive, said the same thing, which is like, all it does is make you realize, yeah, this probably was really fun to go to in person. It's like a concert almost, and with crowd participation encouraged and all this shit. So it just didn't really, it's a long thing to endure if you're not into it. And I just was at home like, I don't have to watch this, I guess. It's not really a movie. I can technicality in my brain say this doesn't count, so I don't have to watch it.
I would say, though, if you're interested in it,
yes,
or if you've seen Hadestown and you want to have some kind of vicarious reliving of that experience, it'll do. It'll do, I think.
for sure. The music's good.
The music's fantastic.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's also funny that it's coming the week after the Odyssey because it's like Greek myth characters.
It was good. It was good tie-in. I don't know if they planned that out or not, but
rumor has it this is going to crack the top 5, or definitely the top 10 at the box office, maybe the top 5, because I think there's a lot of pre-sales that have already been sold.
They're making it an event too. It's only 5 nights in theaters, they're saying, and so if you want to go see it now, because
I've heard of 5 Nights at Freddy's, but 5 Nights at Hadestown the musical. Wow, they're doing everything these days. Okay, enough silly business. We're gonna get right into it. Well, unfortunately, I would say this movie is some silly business. Her Private Hell, Nicholas Winding Refn's new movie, starring Sophie Thatcher, Havana Rose Liu, and I don't remember anybody else. Oh, Charles Melton playing he's in a completely different movie within this movie, but he's in it. Here's the trailer.
Beautiful, sweet, powerful. You either have it or you don't.
The moment you forget that, is the moment you disappear.
Have you heard?
There's been another victim of the Leather Man.
Is he a ghost? A monster? A god?
If you think he's playing games with you, he is. If you think he's gonna kill you,
that makes it seems almost like a coherent, story-driven film. This, I feel like it's both unfair and totally fair for me to be like, I can only talk about this movie in this terms of like, you know, I love David Lynch's Inland Empire, which is a movie that does not have a linear storyline and kind of requires a lot of work on the viewer's part to interpret what's going on. And I feel like I've seen people say that about this movie and like use those terms to be like, oh, it's so brilliant. It's all of Refn's, what I would say, obsessions that we've seen on screen a million times. It's all of those things just coming out in a way, in a different, manifesting in some new way. In interviews, he's talking about this is his movie. He's a dad now, and he has a daughter. It's like a girl dad movie from a guy who makes movies about violence against women. So it's very like, I want to get on the intellectual level of this is actually brilliant, but I tried and I found this movie to be quite mostly just boring, but like good vibes, really amazing score. I thought Pino Donaggio, retired Italian composer who's done some of my favorite work in film, including the Body Double score, which is one of my favorite scores. The bit Telescope, you can listen to it like a single. It's so good. He's back, and it's very operatic, and it's like throughout the whole movie. So it's like a big music heavy movie, but like it's more of a vibe than a movie. It's just like beautiful lighting, occasionally really striking imagery and shots, but the story is all over the place and incoherent in a way that is kind of just like unappealing and abrasive, and it's funny to me that he's made this movie that just like has no interest in appealing to mainstream audiences whatsoever. He went from like Drive to this, and it's like his career is very fascinating to me, not even though I haven't enjoyed a lot of it. Anyway, please speak.
I don't know if Refn was ever going for mainstream audiences, because even Drive famously, somebody filed a lawsuit against the movie for false advertising. They
advertising.
did Fast and Furious, and they got Drive instead. So I mean, but
That's
Drive
fair.
is so good.
Yeah, Drive
I
is great.
even like Only God Forgives, which is more
I-
almost
my-
a silent movie than anything else.
My Letterboxd score for that from 14 was 4 stars. I remember working at the movie theater in college when it came out and loving it. Haven't seen it since, and I wonder.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I would
I would
like it now because it feels like people are saying this is a lot like that, and I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I think that's when people really turned on him, was that because it felt just this personal project. Like, can you get on board with this? You could or you couldn't. This one, I don't know what he's going for, except just to show all of his obsessions and all these things that he really loves to do. I don't know. I don't Story wise, it is incoherent, and it seems impossible for that to be, because it is just a simple story of women being killed by a serial killer, and then a guy seemingly hunting that serial killer, while also it's kind of implying that maybe he could be that killer, because the killer has this backstory of he's trying to avenge his daughter, and he'll kill anybody who he thinks gets in the way of people.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
Yeah.
It's so confusing, and especially the way that it's assembled.
Yes.
And it doesn't have storytelling at the focus. That's the
No.
big problem. It is just about the visuals.
When it was showing me the Leatherman and basically doing Nicholas Winding Refn is doing like a giallo movie, I was actually like, this is so cool. But then I was just waiting for it to cohere, and it never did. So
It never does.
It never does.
It never does.
And then
'cause
the
it's
characters are
doing-
speaking wolf language at some point, just like howling at each other.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot a lot of this already, which is
Yeah.
crazy, because there's not much going on here, but I
Yeah.
still am just completely
Nice to see Havana Rose Liu, who's having a great
Yeah.
year.
She's having a very good year.
Yeah.
She's good. She plays Sophie Thatcher's best friend / stepmother. which is-
Yes, her best
that's the
friend
thing.
who is getting married or is married to her dad, and that's part of the tension here is these weird relationships. And you're like, but
Yeah.
again, all of it is just like none of it is given long enough to simmer to make you get anything from it, right? Like,
yeah. There's a whole science fiction sequence that's just an excuse to say, hey, look, I could do a sci-fi movie, I guess, but I'm
yeah,
not
it looks
going
cool.
to.
Looks cool.
It does. It looks very cool, but
The movie's very Blade Runner by way of something else. I can't quite figure it out, but yeah, it's interesting looking.
it's a little sci-fi interlude just to remind you, oh, these characters do have jobs. They have something to do. They're models / actresses, I assume. There's not there. It doesn't set up anything. It's really just
Yeah, Sophie Thatcher's there in a building. It's like presumed she's not allowed to leave almost, or it's like I don't know. It's almost
don't know.
implied that it's like a gilded cage. I don't even know. Yeah, I truly couldn't tell you.
I don't know. She's there. I think she's there to visit her father. The father shows up, is like, oh, I'm out now, and then she's shooting a movie. Meanwhile, women are being killed. Charles Melton is going around this vaguely Asian
Samuraiing
city.
people, right.
Yeah, beating people up, because that's how men do things in a Refn movie, and women, I guess, are just there to be killed. It's weird. I don't want to read too much into it, because I just really do.
I mean, you have to. Without reading into it, there's nothing there, and that's why I'm transfixed by it, because I'm like, I'm reading the 4-star reviews and going, okay, I loved Only God Forgives at the time, and I haven't seen it in 12 years or whatever. But like, I could imagine getting something out of this. I don't know. I was actually left wanting to rewatch it after reading the positive reviews, but not enough to like run to the theater last night and go do it. I'll probably wait.
I always wonder with those positive reviews, how much of it is, well, obvious, just like, I love this filmmaker, and I love, I'm on the vibe. I'm on
the vibe, and whatever he's giving, I'm interested in, so like,
and then also how much of it is reading the interviews that he's saying, like, this is about me being a father now, and I'm trying to, and you, like, how much do you just take that in and you want something there when there really isn't much there? I
don't know. I want to give artists the benefit of the doubt, especially ones that are like auteurs in the way that like Refn is, where he definitely, I would say he is, because like he makes this pretty much the same. His movies, you could tell from the opening 1 minute. I could probably tell you if this is a Refn movie. He's got a lot of signifiers. He has the things the types of stuff is in his movies, but like, I don't know. Sometimes this movie reminded me that sometimes an auteur having total creative control can be not the best thing, because I don't know what the fuck this is. But again, if that's what I said when I saw Eraserhead in high school. So like, I'm I'm always like a little. I want to, even in my negative reviews of something like this, be like, there was at one point where I wrote a whole essay being like, Eraserhead is garbage. It makes no sense, and I have no idea what this is. And then I, grew up and went to college and went to film school, or I don't even know if that's anything to do with it. I watched it in my 20s, and it was a different experience than it was in my teens. And I watched it in my 30s, and it's a different experience now. So I'm not I also don't want to like say Nicholas Refn is like that type of like that great of a filmmaker. I just want to say I don't want if for someone who loves this movie, I respect and appreciate that. I just personally did not get there on this one. But again, I'm open to the idea that this is some deep, like maybe like a Rosetta Stone to understanding Refn and what he's saying through all of his movies or something. But I did not get that out of it personally.
I didn't get it either. I'm just trying to say like that could be an explanation, not anything against.
We've never talked about a David Lynch movie, obviously, because he hasn't made one in a while. So like, do you appreciate Eraserhead? Do you like Inland Empire? Are those movies you're just like, I can't.
I don't. Well, no, I don't like Inland Empire. When you bring it up though, I always think I want to go back and try it again and see.
What about Mulholland?
Mulholland, I liked from the start, and I have grown to like it even more over the years because it's a movie that just it's stuck in my brain.
I want to rewatch it all the time,
like 20 years. It just So I picked up the Criterion 4K and watched it again. I'm like, this is what my problem with Mulholland Drive is. I was really trying to dig deep into it. I think the first time because it's apparently like the big puzzle and everything. I think it's a pretty straightforward movie, and I just like there's
especially not much... once you get the like structure of it and the Wizard of Oz of it and all that stuff. It's just like,
once you figure out like very the box and and I'm like, I got it the first time, and I just kept hearing all these people say, oh my god, it's so amazing, and it's you got to dig in deep, and like no you really don't. It's right there. It's right there.
Eraserhead in high school, man. I wish I had that I was in film club in high school or a film class in high school where that was the movie I chose, and I wish I could see that essay today because I remember writing it. Or I remember turning it in and him laughing and telling me, like, you will come back to this one day and appreciate that you wrote this. And I wish I had it. But I don't know. Just to say, I'm just trying to speak up for art, even in a pan of a movie that I didn't like. So I'm 2 stars on Her Private Hell.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you really talked yourself into just being a little generous.
Well, I've always been into the score of it. The score, I like the way it looks. So like, there are elements I'm into, but like, sometimes I feel like maybe it's my failing that I didn't bring enough to this movie. So I don't know. I do want to. I'll hedge with the 2-star review.
I mean, I think I tried to get into it and I couldn't. Once you get past, it looks really good. That foggy city and those giant hands reaching out of the fog. I think that's one of the first images. Oh man, it's so striking. And then the story starts and the characters are there and there's nothing to them. And it just keeps doing the same things over and over again. 1 star for me for Her Private Hell. I was not on its vibe at all.
Fair enough. And it definitely is a vibe more than a movie. Okay. Motor City. Alan Ritchson, Shailene Woodley. Strange beast, this one. Here's the trailer for this film.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, I just want to look at you, and I know it's gonna be.
All right, so that is the movie in a nutshell. The movie is a compilation mixtape in search of a movie, is how I felt about it. It's just action sequences and basic plotting set to music you recognize. But like, I think it was very early on when they're playing Fleetwood Mac's The Chain in its entirety, a 4.5-minute song, and a scene is just going on and on and on and on when it's like, okay, this could have been an email, guys. Why is this scene going on still? And if the answer is because we wanted to include the whole song, the whole movie is just like Again, it's a vibe. It's a style thing. And I just never got on its wavelength. And because it's doing the no dialogue gimmick, it's just doing straight up no dialogue. Here's music. It tells the most basic generic story that we all can already recognize, it like from basic signifiers. So it just doesn't really have anything going for it. And then the action itself is fine. It's okay. But like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze of the experience. I was really just like, really? This is a whole movie? This gimmicky bullshit? It's a music video. It's not, I didn't like it.
Yeah, describing it as a music video is right, because it is just really good songs. The soundtrack is fantastic, but
Yeah.
then the soundtrack is just an excuse for the background of a very, very simple story where Alan Richardson's character is trying to get revenge for being wrongly convicted or framed for having drugs in his car after he's spent some time on parole for unknown reasons. He just was in prison, and then he's out of prison, and he ends up being engaged to Shailene Woodley. That falls apart because of the stuff, and then he's got to get revenge. And it's okay, but that gimmick, the dialogue free or very minimal dialogue, the only dialogue we hear here is stuff in the background. It doesn't apply to the story at all.
It's so forced. That's what gets me. That's like the forcedness of it. Because there's a way to do this, I think, that does work. But when I'm watching a scene that's just like laboriously slow motion exposition, because it's the chain for 4.5 minutes, I'm like, this isn't working. Like the gimmick isn't working for me.
It doesn't work because you're just focused on the plot, and you're just focused on how does this happen. You have no sense of who the characters are except in the broadest strokes, because that's all it has the ability to do when they're not talking. It's just, oh look, they're in love. Oh look, he's sad now. Oh look, Ben Foster, who is good.
Oh,
always.
It's so great
and
to see him, and he's a great fit for a role that doesn't require any dialogue, because he's a very good actor without speaking. It's fine.
Yeah, if anybody could pull that off, it's Ben Foster, and he comes close to doing it when he's there. There's a whole scene where he and Shailene Woodley are having this back and forth, and it's, for some reason, it's wordless. It's just cups of coffee.
Yeah.
And it almost works because Ben Foster is so good, and you can kind of buy how that goes and why it does, why that relationship goes the way it goes. And then, like, I don't know the rest of it. The action is, you're right, it's serviceable. I do think that elevator fight,
it gets
so brutal that
it gets pretty good by the end, like in terms of the action. But like, again, juice not worth the squeeze in terms of like, okay, this is the payoff for all that shit I sat through. I found it like hard to get through in those early sections where it's just like slow motion exposition to music. It's tough. It didn't track as like a worthy endeavor to me. But again, I do think a better director and a better editor or something could have like turned this into something I was totally the opposite of, and I did actually like, because there are people that did vibe with this. So even though I like the music and I like Alan Richardson and I think there is some action worth its salt in here, I just have to give it 2. I have to give it 2 stars, because it's not, the whole concept just fell flat for me. It felt like it was hindering them more than helping them most of the time.
It is. Did we reviewed Silent Night, or was that?
I think so. I really didn't like that
so
either.
Too.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I liked that less than this, but because that doesn't have really anything going on until it gets to the action scene. This at least has something until then. And I think the actors are good. I'm gonna say 2.5 stars for Motor City, Brett, which I don't know why. I kind of got on. I think the soundtrack's really great, even if it is some obvious choices. It's Whiter Shade of Pale during the prison break, right? Or was it some other overused?
Was it like
song
Nights
from
in
the
White
70s?
Satin or something?
That's it. It's Nights in White Satin. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew it was white. I just couldn't remember which
a
overused song recently for the 70s.
It's a lot of overused songs. That's what's also tough about it for me. So I get that though. When it's having fun, it is kind of fun, but the whole thing didn't need to be like that. All right, next up, let's talk about The Dink, the Jake Johnson starring, Mary Steenburgen co-starring comedy that has a heart. It's very sweet. Breakout star Aaron Chen. Love this guy as his hype man. Here's the trailer.
Tennis, elegance, aesthetic perfection. She needs our protection. An epidemic is sweeping across our once great nation, and its name is...
Pickleball, bitch.
Yeah.
Here's your pickleball. Get in the garbage. This is a tennis club, lady.
Get your pickleball ass out of here.
My name is Dusty Boyd.
You're crushing these old people, Dusty.
But most people know me as the Hammer.
How come you work for your dad teaching 9-year-olds?
He's the guy that almost beat Andy Roddick.
Walk it off!
Come on, come on.
Maybe you could, I don't know, hook me up with something for the pain.
Take it easy with this, okay?
Come on, come on.
You wrote a prescription for pickleball?
You didn't actually bring it to the pharmacy, did you?
Oh, of course not. I'm not an idiot.
Oh man, this movie really made me laugh. There's so many different types of jokes in this movie. Like even like the hype man guy, there's a part where he just keeps getting fixated on like a very literal definition of what he's talking about, and it really just made me laugh. Even when it's being sweet with its unexpected May-December romance thing, it's like doing jokes like you invited me to watch The Graduate. Like, what do you mean? So I thought this was just such a delightful movie. It's written by Sean Clements, who's a TV writer and podcaster behind one of my favorite comedy shows, Hollywood Handbook. And it's his first movie screenplay, I think. And I thought it was very winning. And the screenplay is a big part of it. And the performances, too. It's great.
It is, and it can be the silly, almost parody comedy, just because it is doing tennis versus pickleball. But you're right, it does have a heart. It has characters that you actually care about. Jake Johnson is really good. I think that he's good in general, but this is a role that fits him just right. This washed up tennis pro who's trying to prove himself to his father, who's played by Ed Harris, who's great and funny here.
Okay, yeah.
And all of that works out so well. And then you're right, so many jokes, so many different kinds of jokes, just a bunch of funny side characters who show up for like a scene or two, like his pickleball opponents and the
Chris Parnell.
Chris Parnell is I'm so happy Chris Parnell, even if this is like a 2-minute role, maybe tops. I'm so happy that Chris Parnell is showing up in person in movies again, because he's such a great vocal actor recently. And now we had Stop That Train and now this. So it's nice to see Patton Oswalt plays the tennis club's resident pickleball leader. It's very, very funny, but you're right, it is also very sweet, and Mary Steenburgen is so good here. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just funny and heartfelt, and I wasn't expecting either of those to hit as well as they do, but they do in this one.
No, and if we talked about it more, it would just be me ruining jokes, because I thought this movie was so funny, and I do remember a lot of the jokes.
Because the best cameos are not the ones we've mentioned yet.
No, oh god, those are so funny in the third. Yeah, they're towards the end, and both of them pay off really well. And then it's also like on that level, the writing is like clever, and it's like, wow, this is like they really did it. They really wrote a winning story here. And yeah, it's his journey from like hating pickleball to like the necessity of it is very interesting and compelling. Yeah, I really, really, really like this. It's the most solid 3 stars you can get for a easy to recommend comedy on streaming. Much better than the usual fare. Very good. Congrats to Sean Clements. Ben Stiller was on the show, and look what happens. Now they made a movie together. Ben Stiller is very funny in his cameo too.
He is.
His repeated cameo. He comes back later. Yeah, 3 stars. Really liked it.
Yeah, 3 stars for me too. For the Dink, it is currently on Apple TV Plus.
All right, and another streaming comedy. This is more what they usually are like.
Yeah.
They're like, this is a good premise, and they're like, okay, so you had to throw in an action movie also? Why for what? Not even action. This one's more just like vague drug stuff, or it's stupid. Anyway, trailer for 72 Hours with Kevin Hart and the SNL youngins.
Listening, human trafficking, everybody going to jail. Hands on your head. Maybe you guys can clear it up.
This guy is a stranger that is on our bachelor party. He vomited on us, and then we had to get naked.
He's like our friend, but he's older than us, so he's like our daddy.
Guys, you're not helping. You gotta see this. I'm in a random group chat with some guys planning their bachelor party.
They're inviting me to Miami? Yeah, they want me to go. My boss thinks I'm getting too old. Sorry, baby. It's fine. This is my opportunity to connect with the youth.
I'm stopping there because is that not enough for the premise of a comedy movie that's supposed to just be a fucking comedy? It's so stupid to me that this movie had a premise that's actually, I thought, pretty funny for a comedy, where it's like group chats nowadays. People do accidentally get put in group chats, and there's always viral content like that guy who goes to that lady's Thanksgiving every year because she put him in the group chat on accident. Like, it's like a feasible, I get why this became a screenplay, and I think it's very clever. And there's just zero fucking need for there to be a plot where the Airbnb they're staying at is like a hub for crime or drug selling, and they get caught up in that. And it just didn't need that. And that's what the problem is with modern comedies, is they all feel like they have to be an action movie for some reason, or like another thing, because comedy's not enough. Well, I say comedy is enough, and it was doing fine before all that shit came in, because it was pretty funny. These Marcella's funny. These guys are funny. They're ribbing old Kevin Hart for being weird, for being on their bachelor party with them. And it is weird, but he has a motivation to be there because he's trying to sell stuff to youth. So it's interesting. And then it just totally loses itself to modern comedy sensibilities.
Does. And that stuff with the drug cartel is so desperate. You brought it up there, staying in a cartel boss's house as an Airbnb. I could buy that as maybe something that you could eventually develop into a joke, but that's not how they end up getting caught up in the drug trade. It's another completely different subplot that comes into play, and that's how the drug dealers come after them, which is like, maybe if you have to do that much work to get all this crime thriller stuff into your comedy, maybe it's not worth the effort. And it's not here. And you're right, it is funny. It's a funny idea. Kevin Hart, Marcelo Hernandez, who was the other one? Ben Marshall, and I think the standout is Cam Patterson, who's completely forgot he got added to SNL recently. I think he's a featured player still.
Yes.
He is so funny in this movie. And the cast is so good. And then, as soon as you throw in all these outlandish jokes, this dumb plot with the drug cartel, and trying to make that into a thing, you ruin what's actually funny about the movie, which is the premise and the cast. And you're just trying to, by the time they're on a sinking ship and they have to use whale penises to save themselves, I didn't know where this movie was going anymore. Like, why are you forcing the comedy so much when you have everything you need right in front of you? It's frustrating.
Yeah, this thing has 4 screenwriters on it, and 2 of them are writing writing partners that have done movies I like Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle and that trilogy. John Hurwitz and Hayden Schlossberg, and then there's 2 more, which tells me that there's another draft and those guys. So you can tell this was futzed with, and again, somebody added that drug shit at some point, because it doesn't need to be there at all. I bet the movie was much better when it was just the original screenplay of 72 hours, and the premise is the guys on the bachelor party with these kids. Somebody rewrote it and it sucks. There's also 15 producers on it. It's a crazy, how did this get made thing to me. Directed by Tim Story, who was, once a blockbuster movie director. He directed Fantastic Four and The Rise of Silver Surfer and Taxi. And now I feel like he's doing lower key affair. I don't know. He did Tom and Jerry in 2021, I guess. Big name, Tim Story.
He does a lot of stuff. He shows up quite frequently.
Yeah, and he does streamers now too, The Pickup, and very interesting. But yeah, it doesn't really add in. There's nothing well directed about this either. There's no visual style or anything like that. 2 stars for me for 72 hours, because I think there is a nugget of a good story there that they buried over.
Yeah, for sure. 1.5 stars for me for 72 hours. It's currently on Netflix. The good thing is it's one of those Netflix movies they picked up from Sony, so it doesn't look like a streaming movie.
No.
It does. So that's good.
Yeah, it looks like a real movie. It was meant for theaters at one point, but I do feel I wonder if Sony just makes these at this point with the intention of selling them to Netflix, because it does seem like
starting to seem that way. There's a good number of them.
Yeah.
I think that Voicemails for Isabel was another one. Obviously, K-Pop Demon Hunters was the big one.
I
think that might be it. They realized, we have leverage now because the movies that we make and sell to Netflix.
The kids like theaters. We didn't realize, and hopefully they don't fuck up like that again. Anyway.
We'll find out.
We'll see. Criterion Collection, by the way, K-Pop Demon Hunters coming soon.
That's right.
Anyway, Rosebush Pruning. This is a strange one. Callum Turner's in it. There's a lot of people in it, actually. Tracy Letts is in it, who I was delighted to see. Riley Keough. Is that everybody that's famous? Oh,
Jamie Bell.
Jamie Bell. It's a strange movie that, again, I said it's aiming for Todd Solondz and lands more at Emerald Fennell, because to me that means empty provocation, because I don't know what I was supposed to get from this other than like things I've gotten out of other like movies that are making fun of people of this ilk. Why does it have to be this incesty version, I guess? Here's the trailer for Rosebush Pruning.
People are roses. Families are rose bushes. Rose bushes need pruning. We all inherited lots of money after Mom died. We're all lazy, mediocre, vapid, egotists. All of us, except for my brother Jack. Jack's different.
How could I forget Elle Fanning is in this movie? She's great. Everyone's good in this movie. I wanted to be on its weird little side. I feel like there's people making a lot of Lanthimos comparisons because it's like there's Greek stuff in it. I thought it was much more, again, those two filmmakers I mentioned. But tell me what you made of this strange film.
It's also written by Lanthimos' regular screenwriter.
Well, that would fucking explain.
That would be why everyone's
That would
doing,
be why.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's why.
I did not know that, and that actually. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this is one of those things. The more you know, people make the obvious connections, and that's why you keep seeing Yorgos Lanthimos comparisons, because everyone knows, hey, this guy
wrote it. Yeah. Okay, that's totally
So,
fair. I guess
back
it's
to
fair.
that.
I mean, I guess Lanthimos is associated with similar elements to those two filmmakers for some people, but to me, it's like a very different style of provocation. I don't know.
Yeah, it's goofier comedy. Solondz obviously is just
The
putting
most
it
misanthropic.
hard. Yeah, exactly. And then Fennell, I'm still trying to figure out Emerald Fennell, because she's hit or miss with me in such extremes at this point that I don't know where to go with her. But whatever. This one I couldn't get on its wavelength, because it's trying to be very funny about all these very serious topics, like you brought up, incest and all these other things that are going on. And I get it. Yeah, it's really easy. Eat the rich. These people are lazy. They don't do anything. They're just going on their trust funds, and they don't need to do anything. But they're also trying to play them off as these are wounded souls who never had a chance because of the father they had, because of the parents they had, and all this stuff. And I didn't get into it because it's trying at once to be that sort of tragic look and also be funny at the same time. And there's a single scene, and I'm not going to describe, I don't want to describe what it is, for one thing. There's a single scene, you know it when it happens. It involves toothpaste, I'll say that much. And it's so outlandish and so disturbing at the same time that I cannot figure out what exactly that scene is trying to pull off. I don't know if it's trying to be funny. I don't know if it's trying to be unsettling. I don't know if it's trying to be both. It doesn't work, though. And I think the rest of the movie lingers in the shadow of that scene, because it does really kind of sum up everything. What are we supposed to feel about all this? And I don't know if the movie itself knows. So it just turns into murder scheme. How are we going to pick off all these different people
Which
and
we've
figure out
seen
things?
the rich
Oh.
kids who have their parents' money and they don't care and their parents suck, and we've seen this all before. Although I thought it was I was very compelled by it until it just became the like, okay, now we're just going to be really provocative for the sake of whatever. But I was into the idea of like Pamela Anderson's in this as the mom, and she's like, you think she's dead and maybe there's something else going on, and I was compelled by that. And Tracy Letts is this like terrible, perverted, abusive father, and how that all these kids are clearly so fucked up. I was like into the idea of what they're putting forward, because they're so outlandish. And then it just didn't thread the needle in a way that was interesting. It just goes, okay, well, we're gonna do what every other movie about rich people does, and it wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, it kind of becomes How to Make a Killing in a way. It becomes, I don't even know what else.
Yeah.
We brought them all up. We brought up it's just trying to do all these different tonal swings, and I don't think it works at all with this material.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm 2 stars on this one as well. It's 2-star week for me.
Yeah, 2 stars from me, Brett, for Rosebush Pruning, currently in limited release. It's Mubi. Yeah, so it'll be streaming on Mubi eventually if you have
Yeah,
that
it
platform.
might get a full like window of VOD, and they actually put movies out on discs. My library gets them every time they come out, so keep an eye out. There's many ways to watch movies outside of Mubi. Okay,
Which is a fun sentence to say.
It was a beautiful sentence, yes. Hopefully never been said before and never again. Cruel Hands, Aussie survival thriller about an abusive husband. Here's the trailer.
You're not tiger!
My mum told me when she was a little girl the world was different.
Hey, can I use your phone?
She said it was greener, the air was fresher.
My family's missing.
Sir, I'm sorry, but I really have to run.
She wanted to take me away, to find somewhere beautiful. But when the fires came, it changed everything. But the neighbors cannot see us.
We'll get into trouble.
Marie's missing.
I don't know what she is.
She was my son.
I'm calling the police. Sorry, officers. I think she was hit. It's a little nightmare. The only way to get rid of nightmares, baby. You have to stand up to them. You stand up to them sometimes.
I help explain why we both like this, Mark, because I feel like you could easily go, it's kind of it's why make like a tense survival thriller out of such a serious topic or something, but like it really works, and I do feel like it's sensitive to the topic in a way at the same time. So maybe you can parse that for me.
For me, the reason it worked is that it clearly treats the abuse seriously. That guy, the husband, played by Josh McConville, is so terrifying, but it's not in a over the top way. He's just very subdued about the way that he manipulates and controls, and then forces himself into situations. It's very frightening. But the rest of it is, I think it does address like the psychological ramifications of what the mother and the son are going through because of the abuse while that thriller is playing out. While there's wildfires and they're trying to figure out how they can, stay hiding while also being in a place that's dangerous to them. And the cops are getting closer to figuring out, what's going on and how is that going to affect them. And something else happens at this house where they're hiding, where she now has to hide something else too. I don't know. It seems like a lot of stuff for a movie that's about 70 minutes total without the credits, but it does play out really well. And I don't think it exploits the situation, because I think it does address it with some severity and some seriousness. So I think it works well as a thriller, and it has that little extra element bolstering it. Like when she finds out what the son draws in his spare time, and clearly she thinks that she has protected the son from everything around that's going on in his life, but she realizes that she hasn't. And what does that mean for this boy growing up in the shadow of all this?
Yeah, it's like harrowing stuff.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's good. And yeah, the movie's really well performed. These performers I've never heard of are all great.
Yeah.
Bavorny Hazel is the lead. And the kid is Diesel Lataraka, and Harry Greenwood. What's the dad?
Josh McConville.
Josh McConville.
Yeah.
He's excellent. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It's like a tense, nail-biting thriller, but also like deeper than that, because it's not just about like the thrill of it. It's more about the actual weight of it. So yeah, I thought this was a really good, low budget, really well shot, nice looking movie. Very Aussie. Felt very Ausploitation to me. I love a good Aussie movie. I always will recommend Wake and Fright. Very influential movie. Cruel Hands is a 3-star banger for me. I really liked it.
Yeah, 3 stars for me as well. It's in limited release and digital / on demand, however you
great
rent your movies. So
if it's like $6, not the 25, I think you should rent it, and I bet it is. So do that.
Probably
do that. All right, A Sad and Beautiful World. This movie is nice, even though it's also sad. The title says it all, actually.
Yeah, the title is very, very succinct and to the point.
Yeah, here's the trailer for this Lebanese film.
التخلئة الساعة 5:05.
وأنا بعدك بدقيقة. فهمت؟ مرحبا فيك تقولي لي صاحبتي بليز إن أنا عن جد سبتيك وما عم تكذب علي ما مصدقني.
أنا بحبك. طيب شو بتحب فيني؟ إذا أهلي وما بحبوني أنت شو؟ بحبك. تمسك أسرع وأسرع.
من بيروت إلى النجوم.
بس ما وصلنا أنجي. من جد بتخيل كل شيء معك يعني أنا بدي أكون.
I found this very lovely and moving ultimately. And it's also what I was appreciative throughout is that it's very funny and like human and like it allows for moments of comedy with these characters and that really goes a long way to making them feel real. I just noted that throughout as I was watching. I just watched it like an hour ago. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the first half is very much a romantic comedy that just happens to be set in Beirut, which is often under fire, and including in the opening scene where these two characters are born within a minute of each other. So it's as if they're destined to be together in some way. It's very rom-com with that darker undertone to it. The characters do meet and as children, and then they're reunited as adults, and it just plays out in that way. For me, you're right. It does feel very human. It has all these other elements that you realize, like her having divorced parents and trying to figure out his parents are killed, and he's trying to find family. He's trying to latch onto family while she's rejecting the idea of family. And then in the second half, when it becomes more serious, because it did that work of setting up the characters and letting you actually really become invested in where this relationship is going, when it turns that to when you realize like, oh, this is going to affect their relationship, where they have been and who they are and who they have become over this. It's it's very moving in a way I wasn't expecting because it is very funny. It's very contrived in a way of a romantic comedy, but I think it works.
Yes, I was gonna say the same thing. Like that's what was keeping me from being like fully like very like 4-star transcended moved by this, which like this movie has, I feel like the capacity to have done that maybe. But like there is a little bit keeping it back. I do think it's because it's trying to be that fun rom-com more so than the movie that makes me walk out and cry or something. I don't know. Even though it is also that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For me, the fact that it subverts all that, it sets it up, it does this whole rom-com thing, and then it twists it and says, look, all this fun stuff that you expect from the romantic comedy, we'll give it to you, but we're also going to treat these characters as if they are real people with real problems and real issues and stuff that is holding them back in some way from really getting to that point where you think you can have a happy ending with a rom-com and all that. I think the fact that it does do that in the second half does elevate it, and it makes it into something much better than that.
Yeah, and as a person, I feel like it really was moving it's a movie like as a parent movie. Like it's a really like, okay, this is a movie like my wife and I have used to have conversations about, do you want to have a kid in this world? It's what First Reformed is all about. Like that big idea of like, this world is so cruel and horrible and there's terrible things going on, especially you think about climate change and the actual planet's going to be gone. How can you ethically have a child? And this movie's about that in a very intimate, specific, personal way. And therefore is very moving when the movie ends up being what it is,
Yeah.
like, so yeah, that's, I think, how I would say it. I feel like when a movie's this fresh, I talk about it much more clearly. This is a good note for the future.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, who'd have thunk it? But also the woman who plays Yasmina is like the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, besides my wife, of course. I think she's also, she's not the director of this, is she? No. Okay. But yeah, Munia Akia. It just said when I clicked on her name, it said she's a Lebanese director and writer. But in this, she's just an actor. So it's interesting. She contains multitudes. Anyway, really great lead performances from both of these folks, including the other guy is Hassan Akil. I'm 3 stars on this. I think it was really lovely.
Yeah, I liked it just a bit more. 3.5 stars for me for Sad and Beautiful World. In limited release right now, I assume expanding as things go on.
Okay. That means it's recap time. I will start by saying Her Private Hell. 1 star from Mark, 2 stars from me. Motor City, 2.5 stars from Mark and 2 stars from me. The Dink, 3 stars from both of us. That's on Apple TV. 72 Hours, 1.5 from Mark and 2 from me, and that's on Netflix now. Rosebush Pruning, 2 stars from Mark and 2 stars from me as well. That one is available limited release in theaters, and then it'll be on. It's a movie, so it will be the whole window of ways to watch it before it's on movie. And then Cruel Hands, 3 stars for Mark and 3 stars for me as well. And A Sad and Beautiful World, 3.5 stars for Mark and 3 stars for me. All right. That was a good week, fun week. Let's go to the YouTube comments. And I do want to say, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That is the most meaningful way to interact with the show in terms of, interactions in that way. What else did I want to say? Comments. Let's see. Here I Am from the Future. Mark's first 4-star movie of the year with The Odyssey. Leave it to Chris Nolan to finally give Mark a 2026 film worthy of 4 stars. That was Leonardo Lopez right before the episode dropped. Do you have cognizance of that when you were filing your shit? Like, are you like, oh wow, that was my first 4, or did you not even?
I knew. I think as we've talked about it,
that
it's what the year's been like, and I think it's come up. I think it's come up in YouTube comments before that I hadn't given 4 stars to a movie yet, which I did also think was weird that it took until July, more than halfway through the year, to give 4 stars to a movie is a little weird. I still think it's a pretty strong year in general, but it was nice. It was nice to finally have one and unabashedly say after it was done, like, yeah, this is a great movie.
Yeah,
yay.
I'm dying to go a third time, and I hope I do. What else do we have? Someone said, I think Tom Holland will make 10 more of these Spider-Man movies. There's more comics were written of Peter as an adult than in high school. And someone else, Known Pleasure, said maybe he fears being typecast. And then the other End of Time Travel said, I think he said he wanted to go as long as they would have him. And then someone said, just looked it up, Spider-Man graduated college in 78. I think Tom Holland's in his element in those movies.
Yeah.
Not that I necessarily want him to just be it forever. I'm cautiously optimistic about this new one. I feel like I enjoyed the last one, which was the last one was the like Avengers style one, right? Where it was like all the Spider-Man together.
Yeah, the multiverse, all of the different Spider-Men.
It was the most I've ever enjoyed one of those, like, this isn't for me Marvel things, but because I have such affinity and nostalgia for the Raimi era Spider-Man characters, as does everyone, which is probably why that movie was so huge. I don't know. They're talking a lot about Dustin Daniel Cretton as being a really good director who elevated this one, and it looks better than Marvel movies usually do. It is a Sony one, so it's not in that machine, so to speak. I'm hopeful. I feel like I liked the Tom Holland ones mostly. Like all the movies. Is that true for you as well?
I think so. I
remember
in general.
I remember really liking the one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I've liked. Oh yeah, the Far From Home. He's Mysterio.
Yeah,
I did like that one too. Yeah, I like all of the Marvel, Sony Spider-Men that have come out. So
yeah, brand new day next week. We will have a review for you. Leonardo Lopez wrote a whole thing about we have to discuss the backlash to the Odyssey, and I just want to say, like, we don't have to at all, because it is just like astroturfed bad faith garbage. Like, it's not a real conversation, and I think the box office and whatnot proves that like online isn't real life. Just because Elon Musk is a jackass who can elevate people's opinions doesn't mean we have to talk about it. So I'm going to skip that part of the comment, but there is other comments. Also, the amount of people throwing shade at Christopher Nolan, thinking that he butchered the story, even though he's, oh wait, that's still bad. Yeah, okay, I'll just leave it at that. I think it's all bullshit. Go read Leonardo Lopez's comment if you want to engage with this. I'm not saying it was wrong for him to say this. I'm just saying I personally don't want to. I've had this conversation at work a bunch too, where I'm just like, it's just like generating headlines and clickbait. I understand why it's happening, but like, it's not a real thing. It's obviously has no effect on the movie. Nolan has talked about it and said as much. No one's seen the movie before they were talking about it. And I don't know. It's just a stupid conversation. And maybe that's libtard of me to say. I'm just kidding.
It was just a bunch of nonsense.
It's bad faith
born
racism.
Out of people. Yeah. It is. It's born out of people who have found this little niche on the internet where they can try to be like, oh, I'm all about story and I care about consistency and plot and historical accuracy and all this stuff. And it's just, you don't like women and you don't like people of color. That's all that it is. We can see through it. We can trust us. We can see through it, whether or not that is who these people are who spend like months and years targeting specific people that they know their audience will hate, or if they genuinely feel that way, if they genuinely feel that way, or if they're just appealing to an audience that has latched onto them. Either way, it's not a good look, guys. We can see it. Just
we see it.
You know, I would rather you be honest about it. If you really are a racist and misogynist, be honest about it. I won't like you, but I'll at least respect the fact that you will be honest.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. Anyway, that's as much as I want to say. But
yeah, that's our rant.
I think both of us internally just said we're not going to address that in any way when we review this. We didn't talk about it beforehand. There's no reason to.
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
Phony, made up stuff for clicks.
And every time I tried to get into it on Yahoo, because that's what I do for my job all day, is like try to put up articles on yahoo.com that people want to read. I would always try to find an article that like, okay, well, maybe I could do it in a scholarly way that, you know, makes it worth it. And I always ended up going, no, this is still not worth elevating in any way. It's so stupid. Anyway.
That's all I ever want to say about these people is until it comes up again and we can just kind of brush it off.
Yeah, for sure. Most American movie is the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, says the end of time travel. And just to end the loop, I'll say that too. I love that movie. It's a great answer.
That documentary about Texas
Train
Chainsaw
reactions.
Forgot one of those interview subjects. One of them brought up that was like the quintessential American movie, and I wish I had remembered that because I thought at the time like that's a great argument, and
it is. It's very steeped in the political era of America, and is definitely about that. So I want to echo that comment until I think of another one. So thank you for that. Johnny McGarrigle said, I really love the spectacle of the Odyssey, but for the most part, but I echo comments about the sound mix, though I do wonder how much of this is Nolan and how much is smaller cinemas not equipped or bothering to handle his requirements. But it ended up with the mix overshadowing the relatively smaller scale climax for me, ending the film on a lesser high. Still, I would jump at the chance to see the film again in IMAX or 70mm. I've heard these criticisms in the past, and I feel like I maybe have understood them in the past, but I definitely didn't have a problem with this one. I didn't think there was an issue. But again, I did see it in IMAX 70, and maybe that's a factor. I don't know.
It must have been so loud. I only had an issue with the sound mix of the Odyssey, surprisingly, which is something I think we brought up even with Oppenheimer. That there was issues with the sound mix. I didn't have a problem with it until right at the end. The final voiceover, I had a little bit of a hard time understanding what was being said, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't remember. The third time I'll have to pay attention and see what I missed. Leonardo Lopez says, here's an interesting thought I had recently. I was thinking back to your review of Minions and Monsters, Mark, and I couldn't help but notice parallels between your thoughts on both this movie and Looney Tunes Back in Action from 2003, which you gave 2 out of 4, in which you thought the first half hour of those movies that were spent entirely in Hollywood and the characters causing shenanigans in the studio backlots were the best and most entertaining parts. And once the film transitioned into a completely different movie, after the first 30 minutes, the films went downhill and became very standard and conventional as a result. This got me thinking about more recent films about Hollywood like Babylon, Nouvelle Vague, and Jay Kelly. And regardless of how you feel about them, those films were entirely focused on Hollywood, or at least connected to something related to the filmmaking process, like actors or a specific era of filmmaking. However, those films were clearly made for adults, while the 2 family films I mentioned above only focus on Hollywood and filmmaking for the first act, then drop it afterwards. Do you think it is a result of the filmmakers having a lack of confidence in the idea of stories about Hollywood being engaging for families, especially kids, or for an entire feature-length runtime? And do you think it's possible for kids to get involved in a movie that is entirely focused on both the filmmaking processes in Hollywood? I think you nailed it in that it seems like kind of a lofty topic for a child to get into if that's the only thing there, maybe. But like, again, if that were the case, if there was a movie, The Minions was entirely about filmmaking, there would be a kid who is the next Christopher Nolan because he saw that movie and sparked something in him. So I don't know. What do you have an answer to that? I
don't.
Yeah.
It is a very specific question. And
also very good pull on the Back in Action connection. That was very interesting.
A movie that I've forgotten about since it came out, although I am curious to go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's a Joe Dante movie. And Scott Aukerman wrote on it at some point, comedian and podcaster. Yeah, I haven't seen it since it came out either, but I remember liking it. Okay.
It is interesting that this Minions movie is the one that's not doing as great as the other ones at the box office. And I wonder how much of that has been
It's about movies. Yeah.
It's about movies, and people maybe heard that and were less interested in it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe the word of mouth isn't as great because maybe the kids aren't as interested in the magic of making movies and old-timey Hollywood. I would hope that, watching Minions and Monsters would get kids to be like, "Oh, why is that guy hanging off the clock? What does that mean?
Yeah, what's that?
Who's that guy with the
Lloyd?
stone face standing there while the house falls down around him?" But I don't know how many parents who take their kids to see it even know about Harold Lloyd and Buster Keaton.
Yeah,
which is
same. I mean, I haven't
unfortunate.
showed my kid that shit either, so I could start this trend, show my kids some silent movies.
Mhm.
Interesting question. Thank you.
It is
Okay,
good.
I think that's it for this week, and we'll be back next week with the aforementioned Spider-Man: Brand New Day, a new film from Greg Araki starring Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman called I Want Your Sex, a horror movie on Shudder called Nightborn, and then something else that I have Above and Below. What is that? Is that a shark movie?
It is a shark
submarine
movie. Antonio Banderas.
Fuck yeah, cool. I'm in. I'm in. And then there's another shark movie, I think, the same week with The Devil's Mouth on Amazon. I think.
Yeah,
I think that's
that comes out on Wednesday, so I should be even
Oh.
if I'm not able to watch it, we should be able to cover it. I
Well,
think.
okay, we will definitely cover
Cool.
that. A Jeff Wadlow film, double shark action. It's summertime, perfect fit. Okay, bye.